our last lesson in our Unit 2 called Language, Lesson 10. And of course, they are learning targets. Our learning targets are segmenting and blending syllables, completing the Unit 2 assessments. So as usual, we'll get started with sound blending. Let's practice segmenting with gestures. For the first sound, you place your hand above your elbow. For the second sound, you place your hand in between your elbow. And for the third sound, you place your hand on your wrist. Then, you slide through your arm as you blend the word. So get ready as we practice using these gestures with words. The first word here is like. Place your hand above your elbow and say L. Place your hand in between your elbow and say I. Place your hand on your wrist and say K. Slide through your arm to blend the word. And it is like. L-I-K gives like. The next word here is not. Place your hand above your elbow and say N. Place your hand in between your elbow and say O. Place your hand on your wrist and say Ts. Slide through your arm to blend. N-O-T. Not. Good. Zoom. Place your hand above your elbow and say Z. Place your hand in between your elbow and say Oo. Place your hand on your wrist and say M. Slide through your arm to blend. Z, oo, M gives zoom. Wonderful. Place your hand above your elbow and say shh. Place your hand in between your elbow and say A. Place your hand on your wrist and say P. Slide through your arm and blend, and it gives shape. Sh, A, P gives shape. Lovely. Kiss. Place your hand above your elbow and say K. Place your hand in between your elbow and say E. Place your hand on your wrist and say S. Slide through your arm and blend. K, E, S gives kiss. Wonderful. Let's go on. The next word here is coat. Place your hand above your elbow and say K. Place your hand in between your elbow and say O. Place your hand on your wrist and say Ts. Slide through your arm and blend. K, O, T gives coat. Wonderful. Place your hand above your elbow and say Ts. Place your hand in between your elbow and say O. Place your hand on your wrist and say M. Slide through your arm and blend. What word does it give? Gives thumb. Place your hand above your elbow and say S. Place your hand in between your elbow and say E. Place your hand on your wrist and say P. Slide through your arm and blend. S, E, P gives sip. I hope you used the gestures. Great job, kids. Let's move over to the next segment. I spy. This activity is to be done in class. The teacher is going to segment a word with 3 sounds in the classroom. You will have to blend the word to find out what the teacher is spying. Ensure you listen carefully and be at your best. I know you can do it. The next activity is adding a sound. A sound can be added to a word to make a new word. Let's find out how this is done. Say this word after me. Ray. Ray. Now, let us add the sound N to the end of the word. Ray. Lovely. It gives rain. We turn the word ray into rain. Beautiful. Say the word ray after me. Ray. Now let's add the sound Z to the end of the word. Ray, Z. Now it gives rays. Beautiful. Say the word ray after me. Ray. Now what if we add the sound S to the end of the word? Ray, S. Rays. Beautiful. Ray turned into rays. Say the word ray after me again. Ray. Now let's add the sound K to the end of the word. Rake. Rake. Beautiful. It is rake. Ray turned into rake. Say the word ray after me again. Ray. Add sound L to the end of the word. Ray. L. Beautiful. It is rail. Ray turned into rail. Now say the word after me. It's. Add the sound to the beginning of the word. It's. It's. Beautiful. It is meat. It turned into meat. Say the word eat after me again. Eat. Now what if we add the sound f to the beginning of the word? F. Eat. Beautiful. It is feet. Say the word eat after me again. Eat. Now add the sound s to the beginning of the word. S. Eat. Wow. It is seeds. It turned into seeds. Say the word eat after me again. Eat. Now let's add the sound n to the beginning of the word. Eat. Beautiful. The word is neat. Say the word eat after me again. Eat. Now add the sound sh to the beginning of the word. Sh. Eat. Sh. Eat. Beautiful. It gives sheets. We turn it to sheets. Alright kids, let's move over to the next segment. Name tracing. You'll be given sheets of paper. Ensure you trace your name on it several times. It's time to meet our worksheets. So get your Unit 2 Core Language Skills workbook and turn over to Lesson 10.1. You are asked here to copy each of the item. This also applies to Lesson 10.2. I'm sure you know how to draw your spiral line, your zigzag line, your wavy line, the cane shape, and of course the hook. I know you can do it. For the take-home worksheet, you are asked to orally segment and blend the words in the pictures. This applies to both pages of Lesson 10.3. Alright kids, we are able to meet our learning targets, segmenting and blending syllables, completing your Unit 2 assessments. Wow, I'm so excited. I'm sure you had a fun time learning. Congratulations, you have completed your Unit 2. Don't forget to attempt your quiz and do your assignments. Love you and I'll see you in the next class. Bye.